Guys, Deluded Guna, YouTube's N'Golo Kante. You've asked me to speak about Carlos Vela, and I've been delaying. I apologise. I've spoken about numerous other kids and failed wonder kids or whatever. So let's speak about him. He's now 28. So what? 11 years ago, he was in the prime of his career, earmarked for stardom, both for being a Mexican star and someone that Mexican young footballers and the public in general can look up to, similar to how Dos Santos was. And he was a star. Like I said, he's now 28. At 17, he was playing in the under-17s World Cup in 05. He was doing his thing. He ended up top goal scorer there. Dedicated his award to, I believe, either his dad or a late relative of his family. I remember reading that story. It touched quite close to home. And it was some real guy stuff. We have to salute him for that. And on a side note, before he moved to Arsenal, the team he played for before Arsenal, when they signed him, his family weren't the richest. So he demanded several demands to help them out in terms of accommodation and things like that before he signed for them. Real good stuff, real guy stuff, man. Using his talent to get people out the hood. So shout out to him for that. But yeah, at the under-17s World Cup, finished top goal scorer, doing his thing. With a number of them Mexican players were doing their thing. Yeah, they won it. Top goal scorer. Moved to Arsenal for, I believe, $500,000 in total, or just over that. If he reaches how many 50 appearances for Arsenal, or something like that, or 50 Premier League appearances, or started 50. Either way, that's how much it relates to. Not the most expenses of transfers, but significantly helps the Mexican club. And I mean, Vela, any young South American footballer or other corners of the world, you want to make it into Europe somehow and play for a European side. Obviously, you want to end up at the elites one day. So yeah, it wasn't the smoothest of rides. He had a couple. I believe he was like 2-3 years on loan to Spanish sides. He went to Osasuna, he went to Salamanca while he awaited a work permit. Oh wait, he was lucky enough to get it. So yeah, and he showed some bright spots. I did think he was way too lightweight to play in the Premier League, but I mean, we were waiting so long for the loan stuff. He was a gassers. He was the Joel Campbell before Joel Campbell sort of thing. Obviously, Joel Campbell weren't spoken about levels like that, but you get where I'm going. So yeah, he finally made it over. I'm sure you remember the hat-trick in the League Cup or whatever against Sheffield United. It was Sheffield United. He was a madness there. He was very much on the cusp of the first team throughout his whole career. He weren't quite in there. There was a lot of competition at the time. Like I said, he was very lightweight. Very much had to hold it up on the flanks, I believe, if I can remember rightly. But he was decent. I know you remember the hat-trick, like I said. Who was it? Was it Burnley? It weren't Sheffield. It was definitely, was it Wigan? It was either Wigan. He scored against Wigan or something when Wilshere scored. I'm sure I might be lying about that and got the teams messed up. But I'm sure it was either Wigan. It was either Wigan or Burnley. He scored a chip. I can't remember. He chipped the keeper. It was a great goal, man. It was a very good finish. And he gassed me. He gassed everyone, I'm so sure. Ultimately, he didn't make the grade here. Shout out to him for scoring his first Premier League goal against Portsmouth. He bagged a couple other goals, but it weren't enough to make an impact, to have the impact we wanted, we expected, and he wanted to. So when he went on loan to West Brom, it didn't work out either way. Eventually, he went on loan to Sociedad and signed him permanently for there. Throughout his time in Europe, that's undoubtedly his best time in his career. I mean, look at it. In 250 games for them, he scored 73 goals and assisted 45. Add them together, it's a decent return. No such in the Premier League for Arsenal. 64 appearances for Arsenal, 11 goals, 10 assists. That's all fine and dandy. But when you look into the Premier League appearances, I believe did I get it right? I think he had 37 Premier League appearances, forgive me if I'm wrong. 5 goals, 2 assists. A lot of them weren't 90 minutes. A lot of them were little minutes here and there. But yeah, the original failed wonder kid, fraud before fraud. And I liked Vela, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, I've spoken about it. Yeah, man. There's not much more to be said on that front, man. And on that note, guys, Deluded Guna, YouTube's N'Golo Kante. I'm signing out, man. I'm getting out of your hair now.